I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Vice President McCullough, for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's meeting of the Penn-Harris-Madison Board of School Trustees. We couldn't be more delighted than to be at Mary Frank. People sometimes ask why we go out on the road and we visit our elementary schools and our junior high schools and our high school. We do it about 4 or 5 times a year. We do it because we just love coming to see what's going on in our schools. Vice President McCullough is exactly right. Mary Frank is the best. And we're just delighted to hear from you and see what's going on here. Thank you, parents, so much for coming and spending your Monday evening with us and bringing all your students. We look forward to their presentation. And it also goes without being overlooked that we have a member of our audience today who is working on his merit badge, a Boy Scout. And thank you for joining us as well. So with that, I also want to welcome everybody who is watching us via our live YouTube stream. We appreciate you spending your Monday night with us, and we will move right on into our meeting, and I will turn it over to Superintendent Dr. Short.
Thank you, President Riley, members of the board. We are excited to be at Mary Frank for a very fun, full house of great things that I know will be shared this evening. And we are going to start. Joining us this evening for her very last student report of the 25-26 school year is our outstanding student board ambassador, CJ Van Tine.
Good evening, Dr. Short, President Riley, and members of the board. As Dr. Short just said, this is my last board ambassador speech of all time, so it's a little melancholy. But starting off, as I'm sure many of you have heard and will be seeing later, Penn Spanish teacher and world languages department leader, as well as the boys volleyball coach, has been recognized as the 2026 PHM Secondary Teacher of the Year. While I've never had her in class, just talking with Mrs. Watts makes it apparent that she is just a great person all around, and she's just very present in the school community. Last Monday was Penn's annual senior recognition night, where the class of 2026 was celebrated for the over $1.6 million in scholarship money that they have raised and all other accomplishments over the past 4 years. This year's Principal Leadership Award went to our very own Kelly Kabinski and Vasgen Manukian. The Paul H. Schmucker Award went to Ali Tessier for exceptional leadership, and the Kingsman of the Year Award, which was voted on by the students themselves, went to Arshjeet Singh. Singh and Tessier also won a lot of other awards throughout the night, and a lot of my other classmates did as well, which is very impressive that I go to school with 800 other people who are just, they always do so much and it's so different, and it's really nice to see. 19 Kingsman seniors were recognized in the annual Penn White Coat ceremony a few weeks ago on April 30th, sponsored by Michiana Gastroenterology. This event honored all students who followed the PLTW biomedical track all the way through their 4 years of high school. These ceremonies are usually held at higher level medical schools, so it's pretty neat that some of my classmates are being recognized with such a high honor. Now, this past weekend was a pretty big one for a lot of people, as it was the annual prom. Spirit Week was very simple, with Monday being PJ Day, Tuesday being Pastel Day, Wednesday College Gear Day, Thursday Neon Day, and Friday Penn Pride Day, as most juniors and seniors were taking AP tests those weeks. This year, the dance had a combination of a live band and a DJ, and it was very well received. The Century Center was decorated with balloons and flowers, as it was a royal evening in bloom. And fun fact, almost everything about Penn Prom is decided by Penn students with the prom committee. At 11 that night, seniors Toby Prince and Marie Roach were named king and queen for the class of 2026. Now, the king was very busy the last weekend too, as the fine arts community has been wrapping up the year with plenty of performances. Hamlet is the most recent of these few events, as the last showing was on Saturday. I saw Dr. Short there at the Thursday night showing. I'm sure she enjoyed it as much as I did. Again, prom king Toby Prince starred as Hamlet in a jovial rendition of the classic Shakespearean tragedy, so he had a very, very busy weekend. Choir held their last culminating concert a few weeks ago with their entire all the different choir classes. Dusk to Dawn was the break in the choir's usual pattern of having decades as the theme of their spring concert. This year represented how there will always be a light at the end of the tunnel and the sun will always rise again. Some songs that they included were Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles and then Walking on Sunshine. There are still a few orchestra performances left this year. They will be performing at Central Park in Mishawaka on Thursday for the annual Pops in the Park concert. And then on Friday, the work of countless Penn senior artists will be on display in the high school cafeteria for the AP art show, featuring painting, photography, sculpture, and any other visual art. In sports news, all three tracks have been making big moves lately. Both the boys and girls track teams took the NIC crown over the past 2 weeks and are looking to go even further distances and heights as this postseason goes on. The unified track team, which is a co-ed team that pairs students with and without disabilities in a partnership, is headed to sectionals this weekend. And I'd say to certainly stay tuned because this team got second place in state last year and is likely to go even further this year. While a lot of sports are barely starting their tournament season, the girls golf coach, Bryce Matthews, has decided to step down from the role and will be replaced by Al Hartman, who is the current boys golf coach. He'll be coaching the girls team on top of the boys team, which means he will surely be spending a lot of time at Knollwood year-round. Since this is my last meeting, I wanted to share a bit about my future plans, my postgraduate plans. This fall, I will be attending Franklin College, which is just south of Indianapolis, to major in multimedia journalism. I'll be running both the Grizzly cross country and track teams, and I'm undecided if I want to major in anything yet at this point. As all of us 2025 to 2026 ambassadors are seniors, today I will be introducing the lovely people who will present to you monthly next year. Lena Khan and Ava Lightburn are both very involved at Penn, and I have full faith that they will fill the role of me, Kelly, and Mary next year. You guys want to come up and say hi?
Hi, I'm Ava Lightburn and I'm a junior this year, so I'm sure I'll be seeing a lot of you guys next year. Hi, I'm Lena Khan and I'm also a junior and I will be here at launch next year as well.
I just want to say thank you to the board and all of Penn's administration for an amazing 2 years as a board ambassador. This is sort of a dream of an opportunity to a lot of people, and I am glad to keep the ambassador tradition going. Thank you.
CJ, I can say that the pleasure has been all ours. You have been so wonderful to work with. Thank you so much for always keeping us up to speed on what's going on at Penn High School and helping us to share to some extent in what you have accomplished at Penn High School. Paris, just so you know, last year, so this is her second year being our school board ambassador. Last year, she competed in a nationwide competition with C-SPAN. Thousands and thousands and thousands of students from across the country had submitted videos based on news stories or stories of public interest. And out of those thousands, she was one of the 3 selected and got an honorable mention from C-SPAN. They actually came and they did a production about her at Penn High School. Whether you choose to major in journalism at Franklin College, which, as you know, is excellent at journalism, or something else, we wish you all of God's blessings and Godspeed to achieve your future endeavors because you are an exemplar Kingsman. Will you please join us in giving CJ a round of applause? And you know what? I always make them promise, right? That you got to come back and see us. All right. Take care of yourself.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you soon at commencement. We'll move on to the next item, Dr. Short.
Hey, thank you, President Riley. So we're going to go from celebrating some of our students to celebrating some of our fabulous teachers. First, it is my pleasure to congratulate Penn-Harris-Madison's 2026 Secondary Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Kelly Watts. Thank you for joining us this evening. We would love for you to say a few words if you would be so kind.
President Riley, Dr. Short, members of the board, thank you so much for this very humbling honor that you have bestowed upon me. When I was told that I was Teacher of the Year, I went to practice that day as I am the co-head coach of the boys volleyball team. And they said, what happened today? And one of them said, Coach Watts got secondary Teacher of the Year. And they said, wait, who got the first? Who do we need to take care of? So my boys keep me, they were great cheerleaders for me. I said, no, boys, it's fine. As I left practice today, they said, make sure I talked about them. So there you go, I talked about them. But in practice the last few weeks, we've talked about iron sharpens iron and how we wanted them to compete against each other and make each other stronger. And I feel like that is what happens at Penn High School in this whole entire corporation. We continue to grow and improve off of the successes of everyone else. And so when somebody else succeeds, it makes you get a little fiery and want to do as well as them. So I hope that I can live up to the great teachers that have come before me in this role. So thank you so much.
Mrs. Watts, do you have anyone in particular in the audience that you would like to recognize?
And then my husband Mark is watching videos for the church.
Very focused. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so we are going to move on, and it is now our pleasure to welcome and introduce Penn-Harris-Madison's 2026 Elementary Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Josie Engdahl.
President Riley, Dr. Short, members of the board. I am deeply honored to be named Penn-Harris-Madison's Elementary Teacher of the Year. As a Penn graduate myself, I've witnessed firsthand the excellence of our educators in this district. It's been a true privilege to collaborate with so many talented colleagues. I wouldn't be here today without their support and mentorship. I'm grateful for every opportunity PHM has provided for me, not to grow only as an educator, but as a leader. This district has invested in me, and I'm committed to paying that forward to our students and our school community. It is true that it takes all of us, the triangle of success, and I'm thrilled to be a part of seeing what we all accomplish together. Thank you for this recognition, and I'm excited to continue partnering with each of you in serving the Penn-Harris-Madison community. Together, we can make a difference.
Wow. Any special guests that you might like to recognize this evening?
I would like to recognize my mother, Diana Engdahl. She's just been one of my biggest supporters my entire life. So it's just an honor to have her here with me. And then my principal and my assistant to the principal, Lindsay Hellman-Cass and Emily Breeden. Both of them have been just so supportive of me and everything that I've wanted to do and are always willing to help me out. So thank you to both of you.
Thank you. And finally, it is my pleasure to welcome Penn-Harris-Madison's Classified Employee of the Year. This is Carly Taylor, who works at North Point. Carly, please join me.
Good evening, Dr. Short, President Riley, and members of the board. I am truly honored and humbled to receive Employee of the Year award. Working at North Point as a secretary and treasurer has been a very meaningful part of my life. One thing I've learned while working at an office for a school is that you have a huge impact on your community around you. When teachers, staff, families, and students feel supported and valued at home and at work, it creates a stronger, happier environment for all of our students. I am grateful to work alongside such dedicated coworkers and administrators who inspire me daily. And I share this recognition with all of them. Thank you to my family for their support, my principal for her trust and guidance, and most importantly, thank you to the students and families we serve.
Okay, thank you so much. We would love a picture if you are willing. So we will. Rachel, where do you want us?
Okay, well, we congratulate again Kelly and Josie and Carly on being chosen as PHM secondary. But Kelly, where are you? You're always first in our secondary and elementary teachers of the year, as well as classified employee of the year. We're very proud of all of you. You're very deserving. Thank you so much for all that you've done for our PHM community. Before we move on, is there any school board member who wishes to be recognized?
Yes, President Riley, I'd like to be recognized.
Mrs. Bell.
It is so exciting to see Senora Watts at tonight's meeting honored as our secondary teacher of the year. I can't say I'm surprised though. I had the privilege of being in Senora's class for 3 years in a row. In a school as big as Penn, it's rare to have the same teacher 3 times, and I was one of the lucky ones. For the past 17 years, she became more than just a teacher to me and many other students. She's someone we trusted, someone who believed in all of us, and now many of her former students are fortunate to call her a friend. What makes Senora Watts so special is not just the way she teaches Spanish, it's the way she teaches people. She has a way of making the curriculum engaging, the lessons memorable, and finding a way to laugh and make us laugh while she does it. For me, her classroom holds memories that I will carry for the rest of my life. Her classroom is where I spent a lot of time laughing, learning, and growing with a friend of mine named Gage. When he unexpectedly passed away 2 years ago, she was the first person that I called. I knew she would know how to comfort me because she was someone I trusted. She had spent so much time with the both of us that I needed her to help me through it. Teachers leave a lasting impact that can go so much further than just the classroom, and she's the perfect example of that. I remember another time when 2 former students passed away and I ran into her at the funeral. She was volunteering to help with crowd control. She wrapped me in a hug and I cried, and I asked her, "Why are you here?" With tears in her eyes, she said, "I'm a teacher. This is what we do." But not all of my memories are serious ones. We can go back to the door decorating contest during homecoming of 2011. I spent all of her preps and my lunch hours decorating her classroom door. We were confident we would win, and then we had to eat humble pie when we in fact did not win. I still remember many Spanish words because of the little riddles that she created, and every time the song Too Shy comes on, I think about conjugating verbs in Spanish. Senora Watts gave us more than just lessons in Spanish. She gave us encouragement, patience, and kindness. She created a classroom that thrived on laughter, a lot of love, and since I was there, maybe a little too much chatter. The Teacher of the Year award is supposed to recognize someone who changes lives. So as I sit up here tonight, I can look at her and confidently say that she has changed my life. So I just wanted to say congratulations. Thank you, President Riley.
Well done, Mrs. Bell. Thank you so much for that. So parents, that's something to look forward to when your students at Mary Frank get to Penn High School is working with Kelly Watts and the other amazing teachers that we have at Penn High School. So though we'd love to keep talking about how great our teachers at Penn High School and elsewhere are, we have some other things that we want to do, including getting to learn a little bit more about Mary Frank itself. So Dr. Short, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, President Riley. Again, we are delighted to be here at Mary Frank this evening. And tonight, Christy Hirschoff, the principal at Mary Frank, along with students and staff, will highlight the Mustangs Give Back program, which I think I see a couple of you here, right? And you were great at welcoming all of us when we came in the doors. And then the success of WIN, the building-wide intervention team, as well as their I-Rate achievements for 24-25. Hirschoff, we would love to welcome you up.
Good evening, President Riley and Board of School Trustees and Dr. Short. We are so thankful you chose Mary Frank to come to your board meeting. And in front of you, before I go any further, are gifts of some artwork created by our students during Art Smart. Art Smart is a parent-led PTO-supported program where our students dedicate time each month to teach art lessons to all of our students. So yes, do hold this up. Mr. Fox, I made sure you got a fox.
I saw that.
Hey, that's a good idea.
They
Yours
are,
resemble me as well.
you're very welcome. We are just so thrilled that you're here, and we hope that you're able to take this as a memory of your evening. Also, before I continue, I do have another welcome this evening.
Good evening. WMFE Studio welcomes the PHM School Board to Mary Frank Elementary School. Today is Monday, May 18th. I'm Lucy.
And I'm Sylvia. This evening, you will be introduced to a few aspects that set Mary Frank apart from other schools in the area.
We are proud of the accomplishments our students have achieved through Mustangs Give Back, the success of our win time, and our success in literacy.
Thanks for watching WMFE, and thank you for visiting our amazing school, where our Mustang mindset is
Make safe choices,
have integrity,
be nice to everyone,
and always
do the right thing.
So WMFE is something we do daily with the help of our music teacher, Jason Poff. He works with our fifth graders in content and in presentation of news around Mary Frank. Our student newscasters from this broadcast are Sylvia, Tony, and Lucy Heckman, and both of those young ladies are here this evening. Girls, can you stand up and be recognized? We do have some up and coming journalists, maybe, to take those ambassador places. Okay, so the first highlight I'd like to share with you this evening is the connection that Mary Frank has cultivated with our community. We have a group of students who participate in our Mustangs Give Back Club. You probably have seen them greeting our visitors this evening in their t-shirts. The club was developed my first year at Mary Frank and by a pair of teachers with a vision to develop leadership and citizenship skills at Mary Frank with our fourth and fifth graders. It's evolved, but that core purpose has remained the same. Now led by Mrs. Tanya Rhodes and Mrs. Mallory Maxwell, these students never cease to amaze me. They have an impact on our school and our community. They meet twice a month to determine their next project. And then the majority of their projects center around giving back to the community in service or in donations. The pictures here let me go back. The pictures here are of our permanent giving tree where students put their donations. We had one of our families be able to make this for us, and we have it installed at the front of Mary Frank. So here are some graphics. No, so sorry. There we go. Here are some graphics that I'd like to show you from some of the drives that we've had this year. But more importantly, I have some students who can tell you about some of these drives and who will share more about the projects that had meaning for them. So Mustangs, if you could make your way up.
I'm Olivia.
And I'm Monroe. In November, Mustangs Give Back Club and our school families collected donations for the Mishawaka Food Pantry. We mailed posters for each classroom, and we had a competition called the Food Will Drive. Each grade level had their own designated food item to donate. Third grade won by donating canned vegetables and canned fruits.
We were able to collect and take all of the donations to the Mishawaka Food Pantry. We ended up donating over 1,100 pounds of food for families in need. Everyone was very proud of themselves for all they did. Mustangs Give Back learned a lot there about how much food they go through in a single day, families who need extra help, and about all of the different services they offer to our community.
I'm Megan. I'm Marissa. Another Mustangs Give Back event was visiting the Senior Living Center on Saturday afternoon. We believe the residents were very touched when we played bingo with them and brought them prizes and talked to them. It was very nice being able to have interesting conversations and hear all sorts of stories from older generations. They're even teaching us different bingo games.
We also made them dinner placemats with funny puns and added tea bags and mints to brighten their days. They were very thankful. Being with the seniors made us learn about compassion and feel more open to older people. It felt heartwarming to us to be able to spend some time with them.
Hi, I'm Lillian. In April, Mustangs Give Back Club and our school families collected donations for the Potawatomi Zoo. Some things we donated were pet toys, food, evaporated milk, buckets, and horse equipment. We wanted to give the animals positive experiences, playtime, and encourage their natural behaviors as they live in the zoo.
And I'm Zoe. When we delivered all the donations to the zoo, we were very thankful for the educational program opportunity from the staff. We learned about a cockatoo, a three-banded armadillo, and a spire tortoise. It was so cool to be able to touch and see these wild animals up close. We are all excited to know our donations will be very useful for the animals at the zoo.
Thanks, you guys. These are amazing students. I am so proud of them. They are going to continue to be amazing Mustangs, and then Archers, and then Kingsmen, and then our community who serve us. So thank you guys. Good job. The next highlight this evening is centered on literacy success at Mary Frank. When Dr. Short interviewed me for this position 8 years ago, I think it's been 8 years ago, one of the questions that was asked of me by that interview team was what I believed should be the principal's highest priority. My answer then, and still today, is literacy. Reading is the foundation for everything we ask our students to do, and I am grateful to work in a district that continues to support that focus at every level. Dr. Reed Lyon, a leading reading researcher, once said, "Teaching reading is rocket science." At Mary Frank, we've embraced that challenge through professional development focused on strong research-based Tier 1 instruction, and we have seen tremendous growth as a result. We've also had significant success through our intervention systems for students who are still learning to become fluent readers. That success is possible because of educators who are deeply committed to ensuring every child continues to move forward as a reader. Tonight, I'd like to invite one of our most important teachers in this process to share more about the growth and success that we have seen during our intervention time.
Good evening, President Riley, members of the board, and Dr. Short. My name is Laura Khalil. I am the interventionist here at Mary Frank, and I am very excited to share some highlights about our literacy achievements. Our win time, also referred to as what I need time, is a major contributor to our success. Win time is based on data-driven decisions. Every step we take to ensure the best for each student is driven by the data we collect. Not only do we use our benchmark data, but we are committed to progress monitoring students in RTI to verify that they are receiving the appropriate interventions and that they are making adequate growth towards their individual goals. Win time is collaboration. Each month, our teachers and our interventionists have a standing conversation to make changes and refine placements so that each student is receiving what they need. We take an all hands on deck approach as these conversations involve input from our teachers, principals, psychologists, TOR, and interventionists. In addition to our grade level standing conversations, our RTI team meets weekly concerning students who are not making adequate progress to decide our next steps for their individual needs. Win time is strategic interventions. By putting an emphasis on explicit, sequential, cumulative, and multisensory and repetitive research-based interventions, we are able to target students at their point of deficit. We place importance on training and modeling the use of these programs so that their implementation is consistent and systematic. Our aides are coached by our teachers, and they collaborate with both the teachers and the interventionists. Our aides have an open opportunity to meet with the interventionist and ask questions as needed. We are thankful that PHM has stayed ahead of the curve by investing in up-to-date resources. Win time is carefully designed. By design, our aides, teachers, and interventionists are all working with kids at a set time, dedicating all resources to the grade level for a period of 40 minutes. By utilizing all of our resources, we are able to create smaller groups of students and reach all students with what they need. Our groups are ever changing as we are committed to progress monitoring and making an adjustment as needed. The second grade teachers have win time down, and it shows in their results. The Dibbles growth data from beginning of the year to middle of the year is proof that students are growing and learning in their win time environments. At the beginning of the year, 36.7% of the second graders were below benchmark. By the middle of the year, 95% of this group of students showed average to well above average growth. This growth resulted in almost a 10% reduction in students who were below grade level by the middle of the year. Being that we have found Dibbles data to be an excellent predictor of how students will do on iRead, these results are remarkable. This group of teachers are committed to progress monitoring their students and making adjustments as needed. Our second grade teachers take ownership in all of the students. They have students moving between different teachers, aides, and interventionists based on the individual student needs. Each group leader is working with research-based materials specific to the group's targeted needs. Because of the cohesiveness in this team, we are able to provide a variety of targeted interventions to our second grade students. Our path to success. How did we get here? You might be wondering. Our success starts in kindergarten with a strong Tier 1 learning experience. Teachers in kindergarten and first grade are trained in language essentials for teachers of reading and spelling, otherwise known as letters, and emphasize the foundation of reading. K2 teachers administer and analyze Dibbles progress monitoring. They adjust students' interventions based on what they need. Because students enter into second grade with a strong foundation, our second grade teachers, also trained in letters, are able to dive deeper into the pillars of reading and enhance these fundamental skills, culminating in the success of a majority of students passing iRead before heading to third grade. This intensity leads to our ability to focus on the students needing to continue to grow their reading skills and have rates like 92% passing, as demonstrated by our 2024-25 school year results by the end of that third grade year. In addition, the teamwork of the primary years ultimately allows third grade teachers to continue to enhance students' skill base and aspire to high rates of passing iLearn. Our fourth and fifth grade teachers continue our success story by providing a strong level of Tier 1 instruction while focusing on our Tier 2 and Tier 3 students in win time. Our third, fourth, and fifth grade teachers, who are, you guessed it, Also trained in letters, continue to monitor progress and adjust as students' needs change and their abilities grow. This year's iRead results haven't been published yet, and it's so hard not to share these as we are so excited about the success we've built. I mean, they are looking really good. We can't wait to celebrate these once they've been published, but last year, our results were just as impressive, and we'd like to take some time to celebrate these achievements.
Here you can see my third grade teachers from last school year and some of our students who did meet that 98.2% of our students passing iRead last year, and we are incredibly proud of that achievement. And Rachel is sending down the certificates that we received from the state of Indiana. Unfortunately, one of those celebrations was during spring break, and I was unable to make it. So as you're looking at those pictures, we thank you again for attending and making sure that our school board meeting is held at our schools, and most importantly, that you're able to come to Mary Frank this evening and allow us to highlight our school for you. Thank you so
very
much.
Thank you very much. I'll pass these down so the other school board members can see them, but parents, I thought you might want to know what's written here. From the Indiana House of Representatives, Mary Frank Harris Elementary School 2026 Literacy Achievement Celebration, signed by Representative Dale Devon. And then this one is a certificate of achievement that came from the State Department of Education that's signed by the Indiana Secretary of Education, Dr. Katie Jenner. That's pretty impressive stuff. Congratulations to you. Parents, congratulations to you, Mrs. Gearshaw. Laura, thank you so much for that presentation on intervention. I noticed that you're aptly dressed in green for the occasion, being Mustang. And students, can you see me? I know you're kind of behind a screen. You know, I just want to tell you, students, this is what we absolutely love the most about our jobs being school board members, is coming to get to see you and to hear from you about what you're doing. The Mustangs giving back. I hope you know what you've accomplished in terms of giving food to people at the pantry. 1,100 pounds, I think I heard. You know, you fed people who were hungry and they didn't have an alternative but for you. And then you donated goods for our zoo, and you made our community a better place to live because you're helping to support the zoo. I hope you understand that's just some really cool stuff that you're doing. Let's all give them a round of applause. Thank you for taking an interest in giving back. I love the Mustangs Give Back program. Mrs. Heershop, congratulations to you. The success of Mary Frank obviously speaks for itself, but it also comes across in all the numbers that we see. But most beautifully, it comes across in what your students are achieving. And parents, congratulations. Congratulations on all of these students who are achieving so much at such young ages in their academic careers and becoming such great parts of our community. And I do quite agree that Lucy and Sylvia will someday join CJ and Kelly as student ambassadors, and they're on their way to fruitful careers in journalism, if that's what they so choose. Thank you all so much. And I want to let you know that while I know you were eager to stay here for the rest of the business portion of the school board meeting, you don't have to. If you would like to grab your student and go on home and make dinner, now would be a good time, and I'm going to pause for a moment to let you do so. Okay, I'll officially call the meeting to order now. The first item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Board members, any changes? Administration,
The administration has no changes.
motion to approve.
I so move.
Second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. That motion carries by a vote of 7-0. Next up is the approval of the minutes from the April 16, 2026 executive session, April 20th, 2026 regular board meeting, and the May 5th, 2026 executive session. Board members, any additions or changes to those minutes? Administration,
The administration has no changes.
motion to approve.
I so move.
I second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay.
Nay. I'm sorry. I was reading the. It's the school that's got. It's
You're working on your merit badge. We're gonna work on his demerit badge. How's that?
Thank you.
Okay, we will show.
I'm gonna
that-
stop reading along.
I've had enough at math. I don't need you helping. So we'll show that motion carries by a vote of 7-0. Next step is the consent agenda. Dr. Short.
So the administration recommends approval for the consent agenda as presented. And hearing on the personnel report under certified staff is the following retirement for the end of the 25-26 school year. Jacqueline Anderson, academic interventionist at Elm Road Elementary, who will be retiring after 31 years of service. And then appearing on the personnel report under classified staff is the following retirement. Cheryl McGrail, educational assistant at Schmucker Middle School, who will retire on June 4th after 24 years of service. On behalf of the board and administration, we wish both Jacqueline and Cheryl the very best in their upcoming retirements.
Board members, any questions?
Mr. Wright, I don't have any questions, but I thought the donation report for this month was over $110,000, which I think is outstanding. 92,000 of it, which came from the booster fund. So,
Thank you, Mr. Fox. Other questions or comments? Do I have a motion to approve the May 18th, 2026 consent agenda as presented by Dr. Short?
I so move.
Second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. And I also want to join Dr. Short on behalf of the board. This is always a bittersweet time of year as we say goodbye to friends who we worked with in the PHM community for years. Jacqueline, we appreciate you, everything that you've done for PHM along with Cheryl. We wish you God's well-deserved retirements, and we hope to see you again very soon. And with that, we'll move on to the next item, which is the second reading and approval of revisions to parent-student handbooks. Dr. Short.
Thank you, President Riley, members of the board. Next up is the second reading and approval of revisions to the student parent handbooks for 26-27, which our Director of Academic and Student Support, Mr. Randy Williams, will present. Mr. Williams.
Good evening, President Riley, Dr. Short, members of the board. Since we last met, I'm happy to elaborate on any of the updates I provided or to answer any questions you may have.
Board members, any questions for Mr. Williams? Okay, this motion has been submitted to the board for a vote tonight, but before I call for a vote, we do have a member of the public who has asked to speak on this specific agenda item. So with that, we have a 3-minute limit. And our board attorney will keep time and let you know as your time is expiring. I will call up and recognize Tiana Batista Waddell.
All right, ma'am, I'll read our instructions real quick before you begin. Thank you very much. At regular meetings, the public is invited to address the board on general topics or on specific topics such as this. A time limit of 3 minutes will be enforced for persons wishing to speak during the hearing of visitors or at this time. I, as the board attorney, will keep time and I'll let you know as your time is expiring. It's requested that names and addresses be stated at the beginning of such comments. Individuals may speak only once during this section of the agenda. Please understand that personnel issues and student discipline issues absolutely cannot be addressed during these sessions of the board. PHM is an employer and must comply with our own policies as well as various laws that protect the privacy of employees and students, among them protections provided under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act HIPAA, APRA, as well as Indiana's public records access laws. These laws are designed to treat all employees and students fairly and to allow for a thorough review of matters. So the board would be ultimately the potential adjudicator in any future discipline action. As a result, PHM board members and administrators cannot publicly discuss nor allow for public discussion at board meetings concerns related to a particular employee or student discipline. The school board sets the policy that guides disciplinary matters that cannot allow for public discussion when it could be an adjudicatory role. Constitutional due process requires the school board to be a fair, impartial decision maker. PHM has a clearly defined procedure for personnel issues and student discipline issues. That is, concerns about individual employees or particular student issues should be brought to the superintendent or designee. I encourage anyone who has some personnel concern to voice that concern to the superintendent outside of a public meeting. On past occasions in which a personnel issue or student discipline issue has garnered public attention, members of the public have expressed their opinions to the board and administration privately and in written form. Those communications are promptly made available to the board and are carefully reviewed by the board and administration. Please use orderly and appropriate language and volume when addressing the board. Also, as this is an opportunity for members of the public to address the board, please refrain from directing your remarks to other members of the public who are in attendance tonight. I respectfully ask that anyone wishing to address the board abides by this policy. I, as the board attorney, am here to ensure that the privacy rights of employees and students are carefully balanced with the public's right of free expression. In your remarks, you are free to discuss issues, not employees or students. If your remarks infringe upon an employee or student's privacy rights, I will promptly inform you. Repeated violations of these instructions could result in the forfeiture of your remaining time allotments, and the board does not respond to questions or comments posed during this time. That said, I will take your time and you may begin now.
Appreciate you. Good evening, members of the board and Superintendent Dr. Short. My name is Tiana Baptiste Waddell. This evening, you are scheduled to approve 3 levels of student codes of conduct, yet none of them directly reflect the systemic changes needed to address one of the district's most persistent and publicly criticized issues: racial discrimination against Black students. 2 months after the March 4th racist incident connected to Penn High School, the community is still asking the same question: what concrete action has actually been taken? Yes, the district acknowledged the incident. Yes, there was an investigation. Yes, we were told discipline occurred. But beyond statements and closed-door conversations, where is the measurable follow-through? Unfortunately, tonight represents another missed opportunity. Given the district's history of racial incidents and community concerns over multiple years, this was the moment to explicitly state anti-racist expectations and directly address racial discrimination within district policy. Instead, race was once again left implied under broad language and etc. Respectfully, that is not good enough anymore. When districts like yourself have documented racial concerns, racism should not be hidden inside vague wording. Students, families, staff, and the broader community deserve clarity regarding what behaviors are unacceptable and what values this district is intentionally choosing to uphold. The concern is not simply about one student's behavior. The concern is the repeated pattern of racial incidents, student testimonies, and community concerns that continue surfacing year after year. Back in 2020, students and alumni publicly shared experiences involving racism and inequitable treatment within PHM schools. Yet here we are again in 2026, having many of the same conversations. So tonight I ask, where are the revised anti-racism policies? Where are the publicly accountability measures? Where are the measurable goals and timelines for change? Where is the direct support for impacted students and families? Black students should not have to question whether they belong or whether their experience will be minimized. This community deserves transparency. This community deserves measurable outcomes. And most importantly, our students deserve psychologically safe learning environments. Leadership is not simply responding after harm occurs. Leadership is creating systems that prevent harm, respond transparently, and restore trust. Do better. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate your input. Based on community input or based on the presentation of the motion, board members, any questions for the administration or for our board attorney? Okay, hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the revisions to the handbooks for the elementary school, middle school, Penn High School, athletic and activities code of conduct for students representing Penn High School, athletic and activities code for students representing PHM middle schools, Penn Pals, and the Early Learning Academy preschools, Kids Club, and Meadows Edge and Madison preschools for the 2026-2027 school year as presented?
I so move.
I second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, vote nay. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. And thank you, Mr. Williams, for all your work on that, and keeping the board abreast. We'll move on up to the approval of the contract with the Zello. Dr. Short.
Thank you, President Riley. Assistant Superintendent for Instruction, Dr. Levon Daniel, will present our next item this evening, which is a request for approval to pilot Zello as the college and career readiness software for students in grades 6 through 12. Dr. Daniel.
All right. Good evening, President Riley, Dr. Short, members of the board. We're very excited for this opportunity. We are going to look to pilot Zello for this next year. And the reason for that was because of the changes from the state with the new diploma requirements and work-based learning. We have to track that in a different way. And there's quite a few schools across the state who are using this and have great success. So we're going to try it for this first year and see how it goes. I am confident that we'll be successful with that, and then we'll continue after that. So tonight we are seeking permission to pilot that for this next year.
Thank you, Dr. Dean Knoll. Board members, any questions, comments?
I have a question, Mr. Riley. So the agreement talks about a 4-year payment schedule. So we're just piloting year one and then we can get out of the agreement?
Yeah, so we're piloting the first year, and then if we want to continue with them, that's what the pay schedule would be for the remaining time.
And the first year pilot is at a significantly reduced fee, as it looked like compared to the rest?
Yeah, it's very minimal, and that is really not so much for the software, it's just the setup, right? Because if we're going to do it and track students, they will have to input that information into at least to get the setup for us to try it.
So the years 2, 3, and 4 fees are locked in.
Yes, that's what we're agreeing to tonight, to like, if we pilot it and we want to move forward, then those will be the fees that they will charge for that remaining part of the contract.
I have two questions.
Mrs. Booker?
The first one, is this in addition to Naviance or is it separate from?
Yeah, so it will eventually hopefully take its place after the pilot. But for this first year, so those of you to share with everyone. So Naviance is what we do for right now, our college and career readiness for 6 through 12. So we have students who are using that, like our seniors, right, are using that and have all their information in that. So we didn't want to lose that when we're piloting. And one of the reasons that we were moving to Zello is because they have a more robust platform for keeping the work-based learning documentation. So that was the idea, that we didn't want to change everybody over from Naviance. We wanted to be able to try Zello, see if it fulfills our needs. And then if it does, we would move completely for all of that college and career readiness for 6 through 12 to Zello for next year.
So what group will you pilot it with? Like, is it incoming 6th graders or how will you?
No, it's going to be with the high school. So the work
everyone
base.
in high school.
So no, I think just for, I will clarify that with Mr. Parker, but I believe it's the one that we're using it for the work-based learning tracking. Does that make sense? So it won't be with everyone. It will be with the students that we need to start tracking that work-based learning. But I can also do more follow-up details if you want exactly how many students that will look like and things for next year.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Other questions, comments? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the contract with Zello to pilot Zello as the college and career readiness software platform?
I so move.
I second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, vote nay. Motion carries by vote of 7-0. Thank you, Dr. Dean Knoll. And we'll move on to focus on the Penn High School Academies. Dr. Short.
Thank you, President Riley. We are pleased to present to the board and those here this evening the Penn High School Academies presentation. And tonight we are going to focus on the Freshman Academy and the Exceptional Education Academy. Dr. Dean Knoll will present this item.
Very good. So again, President Riley, Dr. Short, members of the board, we're going to continue with this theme of connection that we talked about with Mary Frank, of connecting our community and different students together. So I'm very excited to introduce Janice Schaefer, who is going to talk about our Exceptional Education Academy and their partnerships and connections they make through co-teaching and many other platforms that are very exciting. And then also I'm looking forward to hearing from Carrie Morton and some of her students with Freshman Academy and how they connect our freshmen to find a sense of belongingness as they come to Penn High School. So I will let these two ladies share with the students they brought with them.
Good evening, President Riley, Dr. Short, members of the board. I am happy to present an update on our Exceptional Education Academy. I will update you on some continued efforts in our inclusion. And then we will hear from one of our peer leaders and also learn about AAC from Mrs. Pierce, our speech pathologist. Inclusion means that all students at Penn are welcome in the spaces and classrooms in our school. Elective classes have always been a great way to introduce inclusion, and we have seen some really great things happening in these places. As we continue our mission, we took big steps this year. We added a co-teacher in speech class, early childhood education, theater, personal finance, history, and algebra. This has helped students earn a variety of units toward their alternate diplomas. It's also expanded our reach into the general education population, helping spread our inclusive values. Every student at Penn High School belongs in the classroom. Next year, we get to extend these opportunities in culinary, oceanography, English 12, and geometry. One elective that is near and dear to my heart, being the class that directed my college and career choices as a peer, is peer leadership. I'm now going to turn it over to Anna Heck, who will share their experience with the peer leadership program.
Good evening, President Riley, Dr. Short, and the rest of the board. My name is Anna Heck. I'm a junior at Penn High School. I'm also a varsity pitcher for the Penn High School softball team. This is my 4th year doing peer leadership. I was asked to speak here today about what peer leadership has meant to me. My experience as a peer leader has been nothing short of amazing. Over these 4 years, I've learned so much, not only about helping others, but also myself. I joined peer leaders when I was in 8th grade. I decided to join because my mom was a special education teacher throughout my childhood, and I always admired the work she did. Watching her help students inspired me, and I knew I wanted to make an impact on the lives of students with special needs in some way. When I first signed up, I was placed with a student in an English class. I helped him understand what was happening in class to the best of his ability. Throughout that experience, I realized how much I loved helping others and learned to succeed. I knew this was something I wanted to continue doing, so that's exactly what I did. During my freshman year, I was placed in a life strategies classroom where we focused on daily living strategy skills. One of my favorite parts of that experience was simply talking with the students, asking how they were doing and hearing about their day. The fact the students wanted to interact with me and build connections meant so much to me because that's exactly what I hoped for. I was able to get to know them, understand their strengths and challenges, and help them learn in ways that worked best for them. Sophomore year, I was placed in a math strategies classroom. I helped students practice simple math skills such as telling time, counting coins, and other everyday skills. What stood out to me most that year was how differently every student learned. Each student needs different kinds of support. It taught me the importance of patience, flexibility, and understanding. I really wanted to help every student in that classroom feel successful and supported. This year, I was placed in a work-based learning class, which means I get valuable hands-on field experience with our community. Currently, my field experience is at the Mishawaka Food Pantry. I love that I get to show students the importance of working within our community. Using my skills that I've learned from my first 3 years, I'm better than ever at interacting with them and teaching them. I have really loved what I'm doing this year and excited for the new experiences my senior year will bring. I enjoy helping others, and I feel that I can connect with those students because I also have struggles with my academics, and I know what it feels like to have to work hard and find strategies that help me do my best in school. That shared understanding has helped me build meaningful relationships with the students I work with. One of the most rewarding parts of being a peer leader is seeing my past students continue to talk to me in the hallways or when we see each other out in the community. Some of these students have even gotten to know my friends, and will stop to say hi to him as well. My friends enjoy talking with them just as much as I do and show how these connections can spread beyond the classroom. These skills have helped me also be a leader on the softball team and be able to work with others in any environment. Peer leadership has also allowed me to help students not with academic, social skills, and work skills, but also to create lasting relationships with students with special needs in my school. These are connections I know I will carry with me into the community and my life for years to come. Thank you.
And finally, I have our speech language pathologist here to teach us about AAC and the exciting things that are in the works to improve student access to communication. Hello. So AAC is augmentative and alternative communication. This is any form of communication besides spoken language. This could be gestures, sign language. You might have seen communication books in the past. We're moving on to higher tech speech generating devices. In the speech world, AAC is part of our Communication Bill of Rights. It is the right to have access to functioning AAC services and devices at all times to ensure full participation in communication and therefore our communities. At PHM, we are continuing to expand supports for AAC users across the district, further supporting inclusion. Some of the ways we're doing this across the district is, well, SLPs complete extensive trials, assessments, and multi-step funding reports so students can obtain their AAC devices, especially costly speech-generating devices, which are coming more and more every day. Speech language pathologists are collaborating more with EAs, teachers, and staff to incorporate AAC into the school day. For example, EAs attend speech therapy sessions. SLPs meet with special education teachers and classroom teachers to incorporate speech systems into the classroom. Peer leaders use devices with students to normalize AAC use and encourage use. And caretakers are trained by SLPs to ensure consistent training and use across all settings, right? So we need that whole support across all settings because we're learning a new language with our students. At PHS more specifically, students attend ASL classes with EAs. This helps carry over support and practice. It also gives them the opportunity to support their choice of communication or multimodal communication. Students with speech generating devices present in child education classes, one of our co-taught classes. And you might have seen her in our video competitions, kind of leading the way across our district. And Unified Sports have encouraged more than one of our students to use AAC to support their communication. So we have a student right now, for the first time in a long time, he is ready to try a eye gaze communication device to help him communicate because he speaks at a low volume. We have a hard time understanding him. So I'm very excited to help him along his journey, and so is our team. To further strengthen this work, our assistive technology team is developing a presentation for the Behavioral Summit this summer. This training will help onboard new staff as well and provide continued professional development so everyone kind of gets the base education of what it means to support AAC in the classroom. And one of the main principles is modeling. We need to show our students how to use their devices every day, all day long, across all settings, in the hallways, the lunchroom, anywhere that they go, their voice goes with them. If we could go to the next slide. All right. Oh, thank you. So I want to look at this quote here because this is kind of the why behind why we want to model and teach our students. We want teachers using it in the classroom. We want our EAs supporting this kind of communication because an 18-month-old has been exposed to 4,380 hours of oral language at a rate of 8 hours a day from birth. A child who has a communication system and receives speech language therapy 2 times a week for 20 to 30 minutes will reach the same amount of language exposure in 84 years. This means they're learning a new language and we need to teach them and immerse them every single day. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that AAC implementation would not be possible without our EAs and peer models or peers who model and teach and use AAC with our students throughout the day, no matter how many language systems that they have to learn.
Because our AAC users don't only use one system, they use many based on their needs and how their brain works with that system. Thank you.
I now get to turn it over to my co-teacher and fellow Academy leader, Carrie Morton, and to share what Freshman Academy has been up to.
Good evening, President Riley, Dr. Short, and members of the board. Our culture has special words for the first time we try things. Phrases like beginner's luck. In music, there's the wonder of one hit. And presidents begin with a respectful inauguration. Even the term freshman has an appealing quality of newness. Sometimes our second try doesn't measure up. Without Sandy and Danny, Grease 2 was just not the same. You've probably heard Call Me Maybe, but I'm doubtful that you can sing along to Carly Rae Jepsen's Curiosity in the same way. MLB's Nick Kurtz went from 2025 Rookie of the Year to starting his 2026 season with only one hit in his first 17 at-bats. We also have a term for these second tries that fall short of our expectations: sophomore slumps. I'm Carrie Morton, and for the second year, the Freshman Academy leader at Penn. Penn is a special place. It defies the sophomore slump. It invites students and staff to learn and grow. It begins with the ways that we welcome our students. It extends to the celebrations and supports of both students and colleagues. Our very own head football coach, Coach Reardon, exemplifies Penn's guardrails for success. He had an impressive first year, 8-3. However, in his follow-up season, just this past fall, he led his team to an 11-1 record. Penn has a culture of building and deepening their efforts and experiences with the support of the community. If statistics tell a story, the characters in this story are our 791 freshman students. Penn continues the tradition of dividing them into smaller learning communities. The class of 2029 was divided into 4 houses of about 165 students and a 5th house of about 125 students. The houses share 3 core teachers in math, biology, and English. The Freshman Academy staff are powerhouses. The freshman counselors introduce students to Penn well before their freshman year begins, with tours, meetings, and an important mentoring program. I spend time with our Freshman Academy teachers in the hallway between classes, visiting their classrooms and snapshots, and as part of their house and content area PLC meetings. These teachers are not only impressive in the content and learning opportunities they are creating for students, but they are the most selfless teachers I have worked with. They understand knowledge creates opportunities and are effective in collaboration. Freshman Academy teachers and counselors have a unique understanding of freshman students. They work together to develop curricular ideas that are best practices for students. Teachers know the excitement that comes with a new place, new friends, and new beginnings, and how powerful that can be when it comes together within the context of building on students' interests, talents, and passions. A few students are here to share some of their experiences they have had during their freshman year as part of Penn's Freshman Academy.
Good evening, President Riley, Dr. Short, and members of the board. I am Biosa Hernandez. My freshman year at Penn High School can be characterized by immense opportunities, a sense of community, newfound interest, and overall growth. I have taken courses with great teachers that have expanded my knowledge incredibly and was surprised by how many new friendships I have made in just 1 year. From these new experiences, there are a few standouts I would like to share. I am in the Multidisciplinary Academic Research Society, MARS for short, where we get to hear from university professors about their research, which this year has ranged from topics on AI to chemistry to medicine and so much more. My profound interest in science also drove me to conduct an experiment on the effects of Wi-Fi on plants, where I had the opportunity to present my project at the State Science Fair in Indianapolis. Another club I have a deep passion for is Penn Speech and Debate. where I learned how to publicly speak and develop persuasive argumentation in the Lincoln-Douglas debate style, which actually originates from debates between Lincoln and Douglas in 1858. When I first came to Penn, I remember how daunting it was, with the school's huge size and thousands of people. Now, as I'm about to finish up my freshman year, I feel a deep connection to the school, with all of its clubs, opportunities, and amazing people. Thank you for your time.
Diosa, Diosa, Diosa. You should come sit right over here. I'd right up front.
Good evening, President Riley, Dr. Short, and members of the board. My name is Lena Carlton. My first year here at Penn has been nothing short of incredible. This year, I've taken Algebra 2 honors, English honors, honors biology, AP World History, Principles of Biomedical Science, played in both freshman bands, French, and taken robotics. The highlights of my classes this year have to include, for biomedical science, learning the power a good poster has on how much one can learn. For AP World History, how to write 2 essays in the span of an hour and 20 minutes. And lastly, in French, how different cultures from ours live. For a few years now, I've watched the Penn robotics teams work to better themselves and our community, and I can happily say I've joined that. In joining that program, I've become the first female lead driver in all of Penn robotics nearly 30 years. It has taught me commitment, with myself putting in over 400 hours of work for that program alone. It has made me a better leader and taught me that what truly makes a team, or teams, a family, means always being there for one another, no matter what. I'll be truthful. I walked into this year expecting nothing to really change in my life, but I can happily say it did. Through hardships and joys, my life has gotten exponentially better and more exciting. I've made new friends, increased my span of knowledge, and most importantly, gained a new family. I can't wait to see where I go from here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, President Riley, Dr. Short, and members of the board. My name is Jackson Forey, and I'm a freshman at Penn High School. This year, I took a variety of classes, including Principles of Biomedical Science, Weights and Physical Conditioning, Geometry and Honors, Biology, Honors English, World History, and French 1. Although I loved all my classes, my favorite by far was Weights and Physical Conditioning. This class forced me to push myself and challenge myself, all while competing against others. I learned many valuable skills from this class, including discipline and setting strong goals. These then applied to all my other classes and have helped me be a better student as I move into the future. Along with those other classes, I also participated in Kingsman Soccer. The upperclassmen on the teams acted as role models and helped me get used to the new high school environment. I made a lot of new friends through teammates, which in turn made a big school feel a lot smaller. I also had the pleasure of meeting a great coaching staff that brought me not only to be a better athlete, but also a better person. One of the clubs I participated in was the Multidisciplinary Academic Research Society, or MARS. This club invited people from numerous research fields to give short talks on their profession and field. This provided the participants with valuable information regarding future jobs and career paths. Adjusting to high school seemed much harder before coming to Penn. My other classes, including biology and English, turned out to be much less stressful than I had imagined. All of my classes found a good balance between fun and serious activities and provided me with all the study material I could need. Because of this, there was never a test or quiz that I didn't feel ready for. I really enjoyed the black and gold days at Penn, which allowed for more classes, new people, and a healthier schedule to go about work after school. All in all, my freshman year at Penn has taught me so much, and there's nothing more I could have asked for. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, President Riley, Dr. Short, and members of the board. My name is Alyssa Landry, and I'm a freshman at Penn High School. As someone who has always struggled with change, transitioning from a middle school I loved to an unfamiliar high school felt overwhelming at first. However, looking back now, I realize I had nothing to fear. Penn is a school that truly provides support, inclusivity, and countless opportunities for its students. One highlight of my year was enrolling in the PLTW Biomedical Science elective and the experiences I gained through it. This course not only deepened my understanding of science and healthcare, but also helped me discover more about myself and my future goals, such as finding my desire to be a dermatologist and in the medical field. Penn's wide variety of clubs and extracurricular activities has been another major benefit. This year, I joined the varsity pom team and key club, both of which taught me valuable lessons in time management and balancing academics with social life. I've made so many new friends and happy memories throughout the season. One of my favorite memories was performing at the senior night basketball game and doing bleacher cheers with my teammates. Even though most of my teammates were upperclassmen, we still bonded over shared experiences and had an amazing time together. I'm incredibly grateful for the welcoming community and the opportunities Penn provides. My experiences this year have shown me that embracing change can lead to growth, friendships, and unexpected joy. Thank you.
Good evening, President Riley, Dr. Short, and members of the board. My name is Kingston Kernstra. My freshman year at Penn High School has been nothing short of amazing. My favorite part of Penn has been the environment. During my freshman year, I have met so many great people, made new friends, and built strong connections. These connections were built through many opportunities offered at Penn. I took part in a lot during my freshman year. I'm a three-sport athlete participating in varsity football, boys wrestling, and boys track and field. All these sports have great coaching staffs that push me to become not only the best athlete, but the best person I could possibly be. The early mornings, waking up at 4 a.m. for a wrestling practice or wrestling tournament, to the early morning spring football practices, to the late night track meets, and the opportunities I got to experience the Friday night lights as a player, not just a fan in the stands. Every experience has taught me discipline, commitment, and perseverance. For all sports and coaches at Penn, I'm forever grateful for the lessons they have taught me and experiences they have given me. Along with athletics, I participated in 2 clubs, those being FCA and DECA. I have found that both these clubs are great fits for me, not only because of the people in them, but the lessons they teach me. Both clubs help me grow as a person. FCA has taught me to be confident in myself and in my faith, and DECA has taught me professional speaking skills and leadership skills. Another big step I was nervous to take was the move to more rigorous classes. I took part in Honors English, Algebra 2, Honors Biology, Spanish, and AP World History. Along with rigorous classes, I took part in Intro to Engineering and Design and Weights and Physical Conditioning. I cannot tell you one class that hasn't helped me outside of the classroom. Sometimes I feel overwhelmed by the workload, and sometimes I feel like quitting. But then I realize that every class has taught me a lesson that I will carry with me for the rest of my life. And in order to grow and succeed, you must be willing to push yourself outside of your comfort zone. Overall, my freshman year has helped me grow both in and out of sports. I'm thankful for my teammates, coaches, teachers, and friends who made this year such a great experience, and I'm excited to see what the next 3 years of Penn will bring. Thank you.
Got to flip through these. Sorry. Those were quick, right? Thank you, students, for being willing to share the beginning of your freshman journey at Penn, of your journey at Penn. These students' experiences speak to Penn's ability to set its staff and students on a path for success. I hope we can all take a little of the freshman perspective and sentiment with us as we learn from our slumps and build on the wonder of new experiences. Thank you for this opportunity to share about our year with the freshman class of 2029.
Board members, this was presented for informational purposes tonight and informative it was. Do you have any questions? Anybody wish to be recognized?
I'd like to just make a comment. Dr. Short, administrators, teachers involved with our, not only just freshmen, but middle school leading up to that. I mean, just listening to those accomplishments and experiences, I thought that was a recap of my entire high school career. So I just want to hats off to you just providing these opportunities time and time again, and us getting to see firsthand. For the freshmen that presented, avoid the sophomore slump. It's real. So good luck.
Yeah, Mr. Riley, if I can just say a couple words, as we continue to compete for students, the one negative you always hear about Penn is it's a huge high school, and I'm afraid we're going to get lost. And these stories that we just heard right here would make fantastic commercials as to how you can have nervous at the beginning, thinking you're going to get lost, and then find your place, and when you move forward. And thank you for sharing, but also share more to your friends and others so that they understand what can happen here as well. So thank you.
I like that word, stories. 791 of them being woven into one. The Penn High School story, and you're helping to write it, Mrs. Morton, and that's pretty impressive. Students, I have a hard time believing any of you are freshmen. You present so well, and you are so far beyond where I was when I was your age. I just want to say a few words to each of you because I think you deserve it. Kingston, 3 sports. We look forward to following you throughout your academic career and keep up the breadth of academic study from engineering to foreign languages and everything in between. You're going to become better off because of it. Alyssa, I think a great career awaits you in whatever you choose, whether it's dermatology or something else. Thanks for coming and spending your Monday night with us and presenting to us. And Jackson, Mars, I think we're going to see you in a couple days, are we not? Are you going to be there? Okay. A number of school board members are going to be there as well. We got a presentation on Mars at our last school board meeting. We've arranged so that we can participate in your event with you. So I look forward to seeing you then. Lena, Penn Robotics and everything else. My question for you is, what do you do with the other 5 minutes of your day? You're off to a great start. And Viosa, on behalf of humanity, thank you for studying Wi-Fi on planes. It needs improvement. I have to tell you, you got us off to a great start. You were a great leadoff hitter in terms of your presentation. I don't believe that if there's a discussion about debates that you should be the student. I think you should be the teacher. You are off to a great start at your PHM career, or Penn High School career, I should say. Thank you so much for being here and presenting to us tonight. That brings us to, and Mrs. Morton, thank you. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing for our freshman academy. And that brings us to XEd. Anna, you just hit me straight in the heart when you said that you can empathize with the students that you're working with because of some of the challenges that you've faced in your academic career. I don't know where to begin with you. I guess I wouldn't even know where to stop. So let me just say thank you so much for all the things that you could choose to do. You've chosen to help people. And you are following very closely in the footsteps of the person seated to your left, who has chosen to spend her entire career helping people. And so, Wendy Pierce, thank you for your presentation as well. And Mrs. Schaefer, I have been a fond observer of all that you've done for our XEd students. Most recently at the senior award banquet, I watched as you physically help students who, despite physical challenges, have accomplished so much, and you're helping them across stage. That moment of you physically helping them across stage is only emblematic of all of the effort that you've put into their academic careers that have gotten to them to the point where they are receiving the recognitions that they're receiving. Watching you at XEd commencement ceremony is an awe-inspiring goosebumps. This is what humanity is, type of a moment. So, thank you. Thank you for everything you're doing for our students. Thank you most of all for being the personification of the word inclusion and making sure that all of our students, no matter their challenges, no matter the backgrounds, that they feel welcomed, loved, and included at Penn High School. With that, let's move on. Our next item is the business and operational services action items. Dr. Short, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, President Riley. So this is very exciting. The next item was first brought before the board at the April 20th, 2026 board meeting. And in accordance with policy 9700.01, sponsorships, the administration presents for a second reading the PHM Educational Foundation's naming rights campaign request for the school board room to the board for approval. The PHM Education Foundation requests that the school board approve the naming rights campaign to the school board room as the Larry and Judy Beeler School Board Room. The naming rights will be effective May 18th, 2026, and will last for 12 years. The naming of the school board room is sponsored by our own Gary Fox and Dr. Jerry Thacker.
Katie Bell.
And Katie
Yeah,
Bell.
there is a school board member to add to that, and that's Mrs. Katie Bell. You know, oddly enough, before I take a vote on this proposal, we have a member of the public who is asked to speak via video. He might be recognizable to most of the people in the room. So with that, I will welcome and thank Dr. Jerry Thacker for joining us by video.
Yeah, he's muted.
Dr. Thacker, we think that you're muted. The irony is rich.
It looks like he's unmuted.
Yeah.
Maybe he could start talking.
Yeah, let's see. Is he muted on our end? No. Dr. Thacker, we're still showing that you're muted on your end.
He's not muted on this. I still know if his mic's on. It's in a submarine.
I tell you what, I know that we're going to try to get Dr. Thacker back in so that he can address the board and the public. Meanwhile, I think Mr. Fox, you would also like say a few words. We'd like to be recognized now.
Sure, if I could, that'd be great. Mr. Riley, on behalf of Jerry Thacker and Katie Bell, I'd like to say what an honor to see this boardroom named after Larry and Judy Beeler. Thank you to the PHM Education Foundation, Jim Turnblom, who's a superstar, and President Janae Ames for this naming opportunity and all that you do for our school community. Over $2 million given to our school system. Just a phenomenal. Your leadership and your board is spectacular. You know, Larry Beeler has been a distinguished board member for over 40 years and recognized by the state as being exemplary. Larry was one of the best board presidents I've ever had an opportunity to work with. But before becoming a board member, Larry was a big part of Madison School and a star basketball player at Madison. He was a scoring machine. In fact, the PENN Let's Go Penn cheer was made from the old Madison chair about the rumor that Larry the scoring machine might have been a bit of a ball hog. The cheer went like this: PASS, pass Larry pass. Mr. Riley, hang on with me. You'll see how this connects later, I promise. I know family is always first in Larry and Judy's life, but you know, it seems like Larry and Judy's life has also been connected to Madison and PHM. When I think of Larry and Judy, there are 4 characteristics, traits that seem to represent them. The first, noble. Larry has a high level of integrity, honor, and dignity. Larry, in my opinion, always exhibits high moral principles and ideas. Nurturing. I've always found Larry to support, encourage, and help others grow and develop. Larry is one of the greatest mentors I've ever had the privilege of working with. Larry cares about PHM, and he always cares about his team. Empathetic. Larry has ability to understand what others are thinking and is usually the glue that holds the board together. He's a true relationship builder, but he does it in a quiet, behind-the-scenes manner. And 4, persistent. The guy has more energy and determination of anyone that I know of, and he keeps going no matter the challenge or obstacle. He gets into the details, he solves problems. These characteristics describe Larry and Judy to a T. But wait a minute. Persistent, P. Empathetic, E. Nurturing, N. Noble, N. PENN. What a coincidence. Apparently, Larry and PHM have a lot in common. Both try to be excellent in everything they do, and they usually succeed at it. You know, it's such an honor for me to be able to congratulate you in the boardroom that you've been involved with for over 40 years, being named the Larry and Judy Beeler Conference Room. Larry, PHM owes you and Judy so much, and I think after working together with you for over 20 years, I can say I love you like a brother. Congratulations. PENN, let's go Penn.
You know, I don't like this type of thing. Just because you and Dr. Thacker like it. But I'd say thank you. I enjoyed probably most of the minutes. There's been some that were, and there was one in this building that was not very pretty. Too. So I say thank you. And my wife is got health problems and is totally unable to come.
Well, well done, Mr. Fox. Well done. That was beautiful. And you are such a joy to work with. And I think we finally have somebody who also wants to say a few words to you, and it's Dr. Thacker.
We're going to try this. First time.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm doing this radio show tonight. I don't know this is perfect though. You know, I think about this, and so it's good evening, President Ryan, Board of School Trustees, and Dr. Short. I am so proud to join you tonight to advocate the naming of the boardroom in honor of Larry and Judy Beeler. So I think about PHM, we have a vision of excellence. Board member Larry Beeler has been a role model for excellence his entire life. As a student at Madison Township High School, Mr. Beeler exemplified excellence as a scholar athlete. He was a valedictorian and the county's leading scorer in basketball. Mr. Beeler has brought that same commitment to excellence as a school board member for over 40 years. He's always been a tremendous advocate for parent involvement. And I saw that firsthand as I had the pleasure of teaching 2 of his outstanding children, Scott and Monica, great kids. And I can say firsthand the triangle of success was definitely alive and well working with Mr. and Mrs. Beeler. They're just fantastic parents. When I think of Larry Beeler and I think of our school district when I started in 2006, and throughout that time, he's always advocated for making sure that we have a school environment where students and guests feel valued and significant. He wants to do a lot with safety, and we did. In fact, we became ranked number 6 in the nation by Security Magazine. Mr. Beeler's always talked about getting kids ready for college and career success. And I would like to say that one of the things that we did, we had a Smaller Learning Communities federal grant that talked about rigor, relevance, relationships, and broke the school districts, the high school into smaller groups. We improved from the first year when I got here, the 79% graduation rate to exceeding 97%. Larry Beeler was involved in a lot of the planning and lots of the professional development. In fact, the professional development helped drive some of the great teaching that's going on today. Mr. Beeler is such a strong proponent of making sure that teachers are supported and continuing to grow throughout their careers. When I think of our school facilities, we've done so much work with our facilities, and they're just absolutely great. Mr. Beeler is truly an expert with regard to facilities, how they can, construction, engineering, architecture, cost. So we have state-of-the-art facilities, and we kept our tax rates among the lowest in the entire area, something that Larry Beeler has always advocated for the taxpayer. So getting the biggest bang for the buck with Larry Beeler. And then I'll finish with this and make one final comment. One of the biggest things we did, most important things that we did in THM, and we really became famous in the history of the legislature. The Families for Fair Funding, Penn-Harris-Madison was receiving $344 per student, less than the state average for state tuition support. Okay, we worked with the legislators, a lot of work, and Larry and Gary Fox, the three of us were in it for, the whole session plus. And so ultimately what happened was all school districts in the state of Indiana received the same foundation amount, and then it varies by complexity, but due to free lunch. That resulted in what would be for Penn-Harris-Madison right now, an additional $6 million a year. Those are things that Larry Beeler has contributed to. Judy has been with him and been a tremendous person. I've gotten to know her from the time I was a teacher, and throughout. Larry Beeler has been respected by so many different board members, internally, locally, regionally, statewide, and those people on a national level. So I'm extremely proud to recommend and support the boardroom being named in honor of Larry and Judy Beeler.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Thacker. We appreciate hearing from you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Okay, board members, do I have a motion to approve the Larry and Judy Beeler School Board Room naming rights agreement with the Penn-Harris-Madison Education Foundation for sponsorship of the school board room as presented?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. That motion carries by a vote of 7-0. And to commemorate the moment, I have an idea. I would like for the folks who have been instrumental in making this happen, have a picture with the man of the hour, Mr. Beeler. So if I can, I call on Dr. Short and Mrs. Turnblom and Mr. Fox and Mrs. Bell, maybe to come right up here and have a picture with Mr. Beeler.
I've run a few bad ones before, so.
Okay. Okay. We'll move on to our next item, which is approval of capital improvements. Dr. Short.
Thank you, President Riley. Chief Operating Officer, Dr. Sean Gallagher, will present our next business action item this evening with a request for approval to award bids for some capital projects improvements. Dr. Gallagher.
Thank you. Good evening, President Riley, Dr. Short, and members of the board. We are requesting the administration approval for 4 capital improvement projects this month in May, with the current combined expenditures of $1,203,773. The projects are listed on the screen. We would like to award replenishing playground mulch at all of our elementary schools to ensure we can maintain safety at these locations. And we will be replacing 2 skylights in the Penn High School Media Center that have reached end of life and were installed in 1973. We're also recommending district gymnasium improvements that include resurfacing and or maintenance at Grissom, Horizon, Schmucker, Penn, Meadows Edge, Moran, and North Point. And then finally, we're recommending change order number 4 to complete the Elm Road in exterior stair enclosure project. So this was originally included in the Elm and Penn Band classroom project approved last year that had to be reworked due to reduced overall scope, and we're looking to approve that enclosure. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Board questions or comments for Dr. Gallagher?
You stole my thunder. I was going to ask if the skylights were under warranty, but apparently they're not.
Nope.
No further comment.
I can speak with personal knowledge that 1972 is old. I'll take one motion on the entire slate of capital improvements as presented. Do I have a motion to award the capital improvements projects to listed vendors as presented by Dr. Gallagher?
I so move.
Second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. We'll move on to the next item, which is lease financing. Dr. Short.
Thank you, President Riley. So per instructions, the administration received from our bond counsel, Ice Miller. President Riley will briefly review these next legal steps for the upcoming 2026 Unified Lease Financing Building Improvement Projects. President Riley.
Board members and members of the public, under business and operational services this evening, the board must take action on the next legal steps for the upcoming 2026 Unified Lease Financing Building Improvement Projects. As required by the school leasing statute, which is Indiana Code 20-47-3, the board must make a determination by resolution if there is a need for the project before it can enter into a lease agreement with the building corporation. The first motion before the board, do I have a motion to adopt Exhibit A, which is the resolution determining need for the project as presented?
I so move.
I second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. The school corporation is funding this project through a lease financing, as it has done with other past construction/renovation projects. Lease financings are used by school corporations across Indiana in order to borrow for renovation and construction. This type of financing does not count against the school corporation's constitutional debt allowance. At closing, the building corporation will purchase the Bittersweet Elementary School building for at least the appraised values. The building corporation will then lease that building back to the school corporation. The lease rental due from the school corporation will be paid from property taxes. The lease rental, as shown as the maximum amount in the lease, will be sufficient to pay the principal and interest due to the bondholders. The second motion before the board. Do I have a motion to adopt Exhibit B, which is the resolution approving form of lease agreement as presented?
I so move.
Second.
All those in favor vote aye. Aye. Any opposed vote nay. That motion also carries by a vote of 7-0. Next up, the Penn High School Building Corporation was previously formed to assist the school corporation in the financing of certain projects. For the building corporation, a not-for-profit Indiana corporation, to issue tax-exempt bonds, the IRS requires that the school board approve the building corporation and authorize it to issue tax-exempt bonds on behalf of the school corporation. That brings us to the third motion before the board. Do I have a motion to adopt Exhibit C, which is the resolution reapproving the building corporation as presented?
I so move.
Second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. That motion also carries by a vote of 7-0. And we will now move on to the hearing of visitors. Anybody who wishes to speak before the board is asked to abide by the instructions that were previously read by our board attorney. Does anybody wish to address the board?
Hi, Kelly
Mrs.
Watts, secondary teacher of the year. Thank you so much. I was so remiss in some of my thank yous, and I apologize for that. So I really need to say thank you to my current administration, Mrs. Rachel Fry and Jeannie and Crystal and Josiah and oh my gosh, she's so tall. She's my friend. Oh my gosh, Sarah, thank you. Gosh. And to our principal, Dr. Gallagher, thank you so much. And all the administrators before that just made me who I am. And Josh, gosh, to my new friend, Miss Bell, thank you for that. It's kind work. It's very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mrs. Watts. Are there any other members of the public who wish to address the board? Okay, hearing none, seeing none, we'll move on to board reports and requests. Board members, anything for report or requests?
Mr. President, I have one thing I'd like to say.
Yes.
Just on behalf of the board members that weren't a part of the naming rights, all of us really have a ton of esteem and respect for you, Larry, and your wife, Judy. We're just really grateful for all of your leadership and mentorship. And so thank you so much for all of that through the years. Thank you to Mr. Fox and Mrs. Bell and Dr. Thacker for making this happen. And we just all stand united that we just support and love you. So thank you very much for all of your service.
Absolutely.
Well said. Thank you. Other reports or requests? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to announcements. The next regular meeting of the Penn-Harris-Madison Board of School Trustees will convene on Monday, June 22nd, 2026 at 6 p.m. I think that's at the ESC. Okay.
President Riley, can I say one thing? I'm so sorry.
Just for you.
Okay, I did not realize this is our last meeting before school is out. So to all of the students, teachers, and everybody, just have a great summer. And I know these last couple weeks of school are going to be great. Sorry.
No apology necessary. That concludes the business before the Penn-Harris-Madison Board of School Trustees. Oh, with one thing, did you get enough to fill out your report for your merit report? Okay, so we gave you enough information. Do I have a motion to adjourn the May 18th, 2026 regular meeting?
I so move.
Second.
All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed vote nay. Motion carries by a vote of 7-0. Meeting's adjourned at 7:48 p.m.